Well, hello, and thanks for watching another episode of ARFCOM News, your twice-weekly dose of the finest 2A propaganda. Walker Anderson made a couple of spooky boys, and now he's facing jail time. Is it because ghost guns are verboten in Minnesota? Nope. It is perfectly legal to build homemade guns on Hoth. Mr. Anderson is being charged because of a ridiculous misreading of a law intended to make it illegal to destroy a serial number. Minnesota Revised Statute 609.667 does say that anyone who possesses a firearm which is not identified by a serial number is guilty of a felony, except the same section also defines serial number as a serial number required under federal law, and federal law does not require a serial number on homemade guns. So, Mr. Anderson did not violate the spirit of the law because it is intended to punish people for removing a serial number, and of course, he also did not violate the letter of the law either. And honestly, if you stop and think for just a second, it would be obvious that if the law were to apply to Mr. Anderson in this case, then it would also apply to thousands of Minnesotans who own a firearm made before 1968 without a serial number. That was obvious enough to the courts because they dismissed out of hand similar cases in Minnesota. Nevertheless, Sherburne County Attorney and boss Karen, Kathleen Heaney, is doggedly pursuing charges against Mr. Anderson. They tried to get him to plead guilty to a felony, but he has decided to fight the charges. So while you're watching this video, please take a moment to follow the Give, Send, Go link down there in the doobly-doo and contribute to Walker Anderson's legal fund. And remember, it would be impossible for us to produce quality 2A propaganda without sponsors. So let's pay some bills. Today's video is sponsored by Hydra. From the genius that created the Bushmaster firearm comes the Hydra Mark 15, the ultimate weapon platform. Modular, versatile, and mission-driven, the Hydra Mark 15's quick and easy caliber changes give you a whole lot of options without costing a whole lot of money. And by TNVC.com, your source for bespoke, artisanal, non-GMO night vision products expertly forged by Amish craftsmen in the heart of a dying star. Well, we all knew this was coming, but the 9th Circus granted California Stand's request for a stay on St. Benitez's ruling finding ammo background checks to be unconstitutional. Bad news for Calistani subjects, good news for anybody who is trying to buy ammo in the last few days. While the stay is in effect, no more ammo orders can ship to California, and every ammo purchase will require a background check. Well, I mean, legally anyway. There is literally nothing to stop people from smuggling actual truckloads of ammo across the border from Arizona, Nevada, or Oregon. Ultimately, this law can't survive any sane court review, but the 9th Circus isn't remotely sane, and they abandoned any pretense of legitimacy years ago. I fully expect them to ignore Bruin and even their own rules, to bend over backwards to avoid issuing a ruling as long as possible, and when they do, I'll bet you a beer they will rule in favor of the state. Here's a question. How do we save the NRA? Yeah, I know a lot of you are probably saying we shouldn't, and that's a fair point. You might look at stories like this one, where Wayne LaPierre admitted using NRA donor funds to pay for chopper rides, just so he didn't have to sit in traffic with all the little people. And you probably ask yourself, what's even worth saving? But what if we could remove the cancer and save the patient?
I'm a doctor, not an engineer.
The NRA is still the biggest gun rights group in the country by any metric. Well, except maybe if you're measuring by cases won. If we got rid of the people stealing donor funds for personal gain and making deals with control freaks, the NRA could be a real force to be reckoned with.
Force, as in we're a force to be reckoned with.
But how do we cut that tumor out? Well, there are three main sources of corruption we need to root out. The first is Billy Brewer. He is the lawyer currently defending the NRA in court. His signature move is to collect wheelbarrows full of money while losing cases for his clients. 50 Cent went bankrupt with Brewer representing him.
Look more like 5 cents.
After 8 years of litigation, 3M settled with the state of Minnesota for $850 million while Brewer represented them. Imagine how much more he could have bled them for if he stretched that one out a few more years. When the NRA hired Brewer back in 2019, it probably wasn't because of his extensive experience in Second Amendment litigation because, well, he didn't have any. But after some folks within the NRA questioned him for billing the NRA almost $2 million a month, Wayne LaPierre stepped in to defend him and ousted all of Brewer's critics. Now he continues to draw impressive paychecks from the NRA while he continues his ineffectual pretense at defending the members. The second sleazy board member we want to be rid of is Andrew Arolanandam, who was appointed by LaPierre himself to be his successor just before LaPierre announced his intention to resign. Wayne didn't really have the authority to do that, but he just went ahead and did it anyway. Now, some NRA board members are trying to get rid of Arolanandam Ding Dong and reinstate Joe DeBergalis, who was the rightful heir to LaPierre's position as executive vice president. But another contingent is trying to install Charles Cotton. Both Cotton and Arolanandam Flimflam want to allow Brewer to continue bleeding the NRA donors and representing the organization in court. Joe DeBergalis will get rid of Brewer. So what I'm asking from you is to call or email the board at the number and address listed to my right and urge them to reinstate Joe DeBergalis and get rid of Bill Brewer. They will not pass on your message without an NRA member number though, so make sure you have an NRA member number handy before you call. But with or without the NRA, we are still kicking buckets of ass out there.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
We're stacking wins in the courts like Simo Helha stacked Nazis in the Winter War. And this year, we're going to see more states pass permitless carry laws. South Carolina could be the next one. The House passed its version last year, and now the Senate has passed an amended version, which includes an amendment requiring the state police to give free firearms training at least twice a month in every county. Now, the House already passed the bill, and the governor has indicated he is eager to sign it, so it should be clear sailing from here on out. But we'll keep you posted. And now, for your moment of Zen. Hey friends, do you like pews and other pew-related things? Would you like to help us keep delivering you pure, uncut American pew again at the low, low price of free money? We literally couldn't pay the bills without our sponsors, so do us a solid and get yourself something nice from them. You deserve it. I love you.